Wow, just wow. This was the most absolutely stunning, breathtaking, amazing animation I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Guys, I'm going to review the final fight between Naruto and Sasuke, the 1 hour special. It just came out today, so if you haven't seen it, don't watch this video yet. Go watch it and then come back here and watch this review. So it starts off in the Valley of the End where Naruto and Sasuke are standing on top of the first Hokage and Madara statues respectively, and they have a lot of talking and flashback. I'm just going to kind of skip over that and get into the action because that's what I'm really excited to talk about. So it starts off with them charging at each other, and as they do so, it's showing images of them essentially growing up because they've fought several times before. They clash in just like a base form. They're not really using any powers or abilities right off the bat. They're having a really amazing hand-to-hand combat, and Sasuke, it was super cool. He's like using Naruto's hands in order to create the hand seals. Now, I think the reasoning behind this is they're trying to show the growth of the two characters throughout the entire Naruto series. So what they do is they essentially make them use the powers that they've gained in order, almost essentially from the very beginning, increasing until they get to their maximum power, which was really cool. And I have to say that the hand-to-hand combat that goes on in this episode is probably some of the best quality I've ever seen in any anime. I mean, the sheer amount of frames in this 1 hour special was absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, they must have had to have been working on this for months and months. It's like almost better than a lot of anime movies, which can go into production for 6 months to a year. I'm just absolutely speechless, and my breath is gone. My heart stopped when I was watching this. I didn't even know where I was. I just could not take my eyes off the screen and the beautiful animation, and you can bet I'm going to watch this a few more times because it was just so unbelievably incredible, and it's an incredible feat of animation just for the industry in itself. And it's going to be really, really, really hard for competitors to match the level of quality that went into this Naruto animation. This is going to be something that future generations are going to be talking about. It is probably the best fight we've ever seen in an anime. Now the battle starts heating up as Sasuke activates the rinnengan and Naruto activates his cloak of the six paths, and they start having a really intense flying kind of aerial scene. Sasuke shooting this mega inferno bomb at Naruto, and Naruto just catches the shit with his hand, which was so awesome. Now, one thing I wanted to explain to you guys is the perspectives that they use in this animation are incredible. The landscapes, the things that happen around the landscapes, the way the camera angle moves, it's unbelievable. I mean, look at this shot. I mean, just look at the perspective of this giant Susanoo flying towards you, and you're this little person, all the waves and waters flying behind him. And then look at this beautiful, absolutely breathtaking artwork. The shading, the waves, even the rain coming down, the perspective of the two clashing is just unreal. I mean, they really showed us the battle of the Titans in this episode. We have Susanoo shooting these giant laser beam things. I mean, look at the detail on that. These huge cataclysmic explosions that span the entire landscape. Sasuke uses the Kirin, his lightning dragon, which we haven't seen since the Itachi fight. They have these insane aerial effects battles, and then these explosions. I mean, Naruto really nails it with the explosions sometimes, and this one in particular was like beautiful and amazing, not only because it's like rainbow colored, but when you watch the episode, you'll see what I'm talking about. And then these aerial battles with the sparkling lightning and effects and explosions everywhere. So here Susanoo starts pulling out the tailed beast's energy and absorbing it into himself. And at this point, the fox Kurama is saying that he's doing this as well as even the Sage of the Six Paths. So he's trying to say Sasuke is as strong as the Sage of the Six Paths. And then he absorbs all that chakra. He turns into this Susanoo God mode. And it looks amazing. It looks so awesome. So freaking cool. So then Naruto does Kage Bunshin with his Kuramas. And then they have this really intense, awesome battle as the God mode Susanoo fights an army of Kurama level Narutos as he's in his super fox Jinchuriki form, and the god Susanoo is just slicing him up, shooting these lightning bolts and laser beams and stuff all over the place. I mean, look at that. It was really cool. He's like slicing their arms off. He shoots a lightning bolt through his head, and they're having this insane, intense aerial battle with all these effects. I mean, look at these effects, guys. Like the effects department, I mean, all the departments did really well in this episode, but the effects department, I think especially, really stood out and really did an unbelievably fantastic job at making these explosions and attacks and energy beams and all this stuff look incredible. So right here we have a triple tail beast bomb from Naruto. I mean, we've never seen something like that before, at least from Naruto. And then it clashes and it creates this huge, beautiful energy explosion. And then Sasuke starts charging up what he calls Indra's arrow, which is his strongest attack in his entire arsenal. It's going to use the majority of his chakra, and it's supposed to blow Naruto away. Now, Naruto is supposed to be in dire straits at this point, but luckily for us, Kurama has been saving up chakra this entire time and gives Naruto this gigantic boost, which allows him to create two super Rasengans, a tailed beast Futon Rasengan Shuriken and a regular Rasengan Shuriken. I think that's what the two of them are. If I'm wrong, somebody please let me know there. So the two ultimate attacks collide, and it just creates this gigantic, unbelievable explosion that's not only beautiful visually to look at, but it's destructive as hell, and it creates this nuclear explosion that basically eradicates the entire landscape. And not only the landscape, but it blew off the heads of the statues of the first Hokage and Madara. So Naruto and Sasuke fall to the ground. Their chakras are running very low, and they have this like super intense, yet another extremely high frame rate hand-to-hand combat action scene, which was absolutely beautiful. And another thing that I just couldn't take my eyes off of watching, animation quality, 11 out of 10. They had blood in there. I mean, it was emotional. It was heart pounding. I couldn't even take it. I was just like so excited watching this. Both characters are screaming. And so basically they're fighting hand-to-hand combat with no chakra left until dawn. They've been fighting and beating each other up literally all day. And we get to this scene, which to you guys may not have seemed that great because it's very slow-paced. But to me, I saw this and I was just absolutely shocked and in awe. And let me explain you why. This scene was unbelievable and a feat of animation in terms of the sheer amount of work that went into it. So this is why. It is roughly 648 frames. I started counting. I got up to about 200 going frame by frame, and I just couldn't take it anymore. So I did a ballpark estimate based on the seconds divided by 24 frames a second. And they changed the character every 3 frames, meaning it's 8 frames a second. So 648 frames divided by 3, since the characters move every 3 frames, equals 216 redrawn pictures of these characters moving. 216 for a 27-second clip. Unbelievable amount of work that went into it. That's why they're not shaded in this picture. You can't do shading when there's that many number of frames. But let me tell you, the amount of work that went into making this little slow-paced, fighting each other, exhausted scene was insane. Absolutely incredible feat. I just want to like clap my hands to praise the animation company, Perrier or Perot or however you pronounce it, for their outstanding work. Unbelievable job there, guys. So the fight basically is coming to a conclusion. They can't even hurt each other with their punches anymore. And Sasuke is pulling out some of Naruto's chakra from the fox, and he goes in to kill Naruto, but Naruto counters it with this beautiful uppercut, sending him up into the rocks. And then they stare at each other as they get ready for their final attack. Sasuke charges in with his Chidori, and Naruto charges in with his Rasengan, which has the emotions of all of his friends behind it. And as he's charging in against Sasuke, it shows him as a little kid growing up into an adult, which was very beautiful, cinematically done. They clash, and that is the end. So in terms of an overall rating for this episode or this final, I would give the artwork a 10 out of 10. Unbelievable artwork. In terms of the sheer number of frames, if I could give it more than 10, I would. So 10 out of 10. The effects, absolutely unbelievable, stellar, beautiful effects. Definitely 10 out of 10. Landscapes, also amazing, beautifully painted, looks hand painted. 10 out of 10. As far as the pacing, Naruto has this thing where they kind of like to, do a lot of flashbacks and slow down the action scenes in order to build suspense. I think they still did a pretty good job here, but there was pieces of it when I was like, oh God, not another flashback. So I gave it an 8 out of 10, which brings the average total to 9.6 out of 10, which is an A+ in my book. One of the best animation sequences we've ever seen in history. And my hat is off to Studio Pierrot for their unbelievably hard work on this episode and ending Naruto, the greatest revenue income sourcing anime of all time, which brings in, I think it's around $120 million a year. A great ending for a great anime. There's still a couple episodes to come in order to wrap up the Naruto Shippuden, and then they're going to try and reboot the series with Boruto, the story of Naruto's son. Because Naruto has made so much money, it's a money machine for them. They're going to try and continue it. And honestly, if they continue this level of animation quality, I am all for it. So bring Boruto on.